So I thought I'd show you guys my Prosport 60mm EGT gauge install. So I have here a 60mm EGT, came with all the wiring, pyrometer, and I also bought the Glow Shift 60mm single pod column pod here. So get that going. I'm kind of in a hurry for time here, but just it came with its own little like surface mount pod, but I thought that was kind of shitty. But one of the things you're going to have to do is you're going to have to drill and tap it's called 1/8 NPT for the pyrometer. You need a 5/16 inch drill and a 1/8 NPT tap. But let me show you how I'm doing this real quick. Right. I've already actually done started the install. Before I started filming, I was doing this and I thought, shit, maybe I should film this thing. But so I've already drilled the 5/16 inch hole with the tap right there. It's already stuck in there, and that's 1/8 NPT. But let me show you what I'm using real quick. I'm using my socket wrench down there, and on the tip is a 3/8 star bit, and that allows me to get right up on there. It actually fits that square end at least. So my normal tap tool won't grip that thing, but this actually does. As I'm twisting this, but the critical thing here is you got to make sure you lube this thing, because you'll snap this thing off, or it won't grip. I mean, it'll be too hard to spin. So make sure you lube this a lot as you're screwing this thing in there and trying to make the threads. So all right, I'm gonna finish this up and then install the pyrometer and then put the gauge in. All right, cool. Okay, as you can see, I have some pretty good I don't know if you can see that or not, but I have some pretty good threads in there now into that manifold. So I'm gonna get the pyrometer up there and move the cables around and bring them into the cabin there. So, all right. Not sure if you guys can see this, but here's the pyrometer, and sorry, camera's off. And one thing you should do before you put this in is make sure you get some of this anti-seize compound on there. And I'm kind of under the truck right now, so it's hard to hold this camera. But let me put anti-seize in there, put this in there, and I'll get the pyrometer. This is actually 12mm, so if you're wondering. All right, cool. Okay, got the pyrometer installed, and I'm going to fish this little braided cable back up into the engine compartment. By the way, I'm actually on the driver's side, and the driver's side is the best, I think, because I have clear access to this lower exhaust manifold, and also there's a opening right there. I can get into the compartment, and the fuse panel is right on that side, so it's a perfect side to put this gauge in. So, all right, guys, to get this single pod in there, I'm gonna have to take off the grab handle thing right there. So, by the way, it's 2 8mm bolts to get this thing off. So there's 4 screws. So once you get that grab handle off, this thing should pretty much just slide right in there. So it just slides right in there. Well, get back there. And there's the pod. So next I'm going to get the gauge in there, mount it, and run the wires down and start hot wiring this thing up. So now that I have the gauge not really installed, but just kind of mocked up where I want it, I'm going to make a little mark here so I know. I'm going to take the whole cluster off, and that way I'll know maybe a spot. You're not going to see. I guess I can always take the marker off, but I just want to make sure I keep it lined up here, because when I take it off, it's going to spin it differently. So just want to kind of make it like a little key, so I know exactly where I'm going to have it where I want it. All right. I'm not sure what Prosport's thinking here, but look how short this freaking power wire is. It's probably a foot long. So what the hell are they thinking? This should at least be 2 feet long, or 3. Alright, that's freaking stupid. So I'm probably going to have to solder some wires onto this thing just to extend them to get to my fuse panel, but stupid. Alright. Got the pod in, and I actually had to notch this grab handle out here because I wanted to keep this sunshade on there, and with the sunshade on there, it wasn't going to clear the grab handle there. So yeah, I wanted to keep that, but if I didn't have the sunshade on there, it would definitely would have fit perfectly fine. So Alright, then the wires are over here coming through, and gotta get those hooked up and test this thing. Hopefully it works. Okay, got some wires crimped on, some extensions. That's the pillar, comes down, fed through here. I'm gonna feed it back down through here, but God, it's so stupid just to give you 1 foot of wire. Yeah, I mean, I have to actually splice these extensions on here just because they only give me 1 foot of wire. So if they would have given me 3 feet of wire, I would have been fine. So a little bit bugged. Alright, so I'm going to fish them down, get some power sources, get this thing fired up hopefully. Alright. Okay, so I have the wires fished down towards the fuse box here. I've already run the negative ground to the frame. It looks like this guy previously had the truck. There's some kind of a alarm system wired in here, and you can see his splices in here and radio shit, and yeah, I don't know what this guy was up to, but yeah, all kinds of like splices and stuff. And I'm assuming a lot of this shit goes to the radio, but you know, well, I don't know. I think it's spliced into something. Yeah, it's like, what the fuck, you know what I mean? All kinds of random stuff. Yeah. Not very smart, I mean, with a freaking open contact like that. Okay, alright, so I'm going to try to find some hot sources here. And I have so on this, I have a couple of Zata fuses. I don't know if I'm going to use those or not. I'm going to try to, so for this fuse I need a ground, a dimmer switch, a constant power, and key switch power. So I gotta find those in this fuse box hopefully, and maybe use an add-a-fuse and see what we can do there. But yep, so I just gotta find. I mean, I think the hardest part is gonna be finding the dimmer switch, but I think it's a blue wire with the red stripe. So, all right, cool. Update here. So the stuff on the right hand side, it seems like that's the switch power. So it seems like everything I've seen on this side has been switch power. Everything on this side is basically constant power. So for the constant power, I'm going to hook in the add a circuit here, and on the key switch over here, and then I got to find that dimmer switch. So this is the actual switch up here where you can actually adjust the lights. But I guess it's not really 100% important now, so if I can't find it, that's no big deal. At least I can use the gauge. But or maybe what I'll do is I'll just fire this up, run it tonight, and if it's sort of annoying, like if it's too bright at nighttime or distracting, then I'll maybe hook that up. So we'll see. All right. Okay, so this is what we have here. This is the constant power. This is the key switch power. You can see that. So when I look at this fuse box cover, the only place I see a little notch out is right there, and that's pretty much at the bottom. So I need to fish the wires up. Looks like about right here next to these relays here. So I'm going to try to get these wires up here. You know, where they fit in that fuse box here. Well, it's hard to do with holding the camera, so. Alright, cool. So that's it. I'm going to fire this up next. Hopefully it will go online. I'll show you. I'll drive it on the street and hopefully it will work. It's a pretty cool gauge. It has warning indicators, and it's an LCD too. So, alright, I'll show you. I just have this thing wired up. Everything put back together. Fuse box is put back together. And this is a pretty cool gauge. You know, you can actually change the different colors. I'll show you that in a couple of seconds. You have different color modes, peak modes, warning lights, brightness mode, sound mode. So yeah, one of the reasons why I got this was because I'm hoping this thing will give me some kind of warning indication if I go over, like if my EGTs get too hot, it will actually give me a flash or some kind of beep or something, so I know how to back off it. So let me show you this real quick. Yeah, pretty cool. So you can adjust the color. Blue, green, red, white. I think I like white for now. But yeah, I'll go ahead and like mess with like the warning stuff, but I won't get that on camera. But I guess one of the negatives about this gauge is it only starts at 400 degrees. So I think it's like 400 to 1600 or 1800, I think. But yeah, cool. Now I'm gonna know if I need to back off this thing, because I'm gonna take this in the mountains in a couple days next week, and want to make sure I'm not running this thing too hot. So, all right, that was it. Maybe I'll drive down the street and I'll show you too. All right. All right. So this is the first fire up of the gauge here. I have to wait till it gets up to 400 degrees to start going here. So I'll give it a couple seconds and I'll come back. Alright guys, there it is. I haven't set the warning yet, but that's it, you know what I mean? Pretty cool looking gauge, you know what I mean? Way better than the dial gauges, but cool, that's it.